we're done. We're done for a month. Then the 10th one comes out. Run away, but at least I get a break till then. All right. Children of the Corn, the TV remake. Stephen King actually wrote the teleplay for this. So he actually had involvement in this one in the writing. So yeah. All right. Let's get to this. Now, there are things about this movie that I actually liked more than the original, because this is a remake. This is a made-for-TV remake of the original film. But it's like R-rated, though. So I don't know what channel it was made for, but it was made for some TV channel that they could cuss and show tits and gore and whatnot on. So, but as I said, here's the thing, though. They made alterations to certain parts of the movie. And I really enjoyed most of the alterations, like most of the differences. And I didn't like almost everything else that they kept the same, because it's inferior to its predecessor that it's copying in those scenes. Like probably 65-70% of this movie is a mirror image of the original, and it's all inferior, and some of it drastically. But then the changes that they made, I really enjoyed almost all of the new additions. So I wish that they would have went off script more with this film and done something in the vein of the first one, but pretty different, and they just didn't, and that's a shame. So let's get into the problems and the things that I liked and all this. First thing I will say, because this is my biggest issue by far with this film, the lead actress in this movie is horrible. And I don't even blame her, because this is, the chick from Battlestar Galactica. Anastasia Duala or whatever. I love that show, and she's totally good in it, but she's awful here, and I think her character is written awful, and that is why. And I feel like she just couldn't bring it because it was so stupid. I think she tried, and it was just like the material they gave her to work with was so annoying that her character came off. I wanted to fucking punch her almost the entire film. And I was just waiting so like desperately. I was like on pins and needles, please. And thank God, one of the main alterations that they made is that at the end of this movie, obviously this is spoilers for the whole film, but they kill the main characters in this movie, as opposed to the first one. They let him go, and I really like that change, and not just because I wanted that bitch to die from like minute one, but because it just fits the dark tone of the first movie. I feel like the first movie, they should have died. It would have been a much better. They put them up on the crosses like scarecrows. They make them into scarecrows, pluck their eyes out and everything. Great ending. This ending on the last movie would have been way better. Anyway, but yeah, I had to talk about that because she was pissing me the fuck off. Now, the guy that they got to play the lead guy here is Blaine from iZombie, and I love iZombie. I thought he was good. I actually really enjoyed him. I feel like he's almost on the same level as the guy in the first one, but his counterpart is just so dreadful that it actually drags him down in scenes. There's scenes where they're interacting with each other during one of their fights, and I could actually see that because her character was so shitty and her acting in the role was so bad, that it was actually like almost bringing him down, and it was hard to watch. Also, the kids in this movie are too sweet and innocent looking, especially the kid that plays Isaac. Malachi, I didn't really like him either, but the kid who plays Isaac looks like the sweetest kid. Like the whole movie, I just want to run over there and give him a hug. Like, okay, stop acting evil now. Like, give him a sucker. He did a good try, little kid. he's such a baby face, and he is so clearly acting. Like Isaac in the first movie, as I said, like I don't think he's the greatest actor in that movie, but he's not only is he just a creepy looking kid in general. I don't think they even had to do anything, but the performance he was giving, it felt genuine. And in this one, this kid felt like his parents were, forcing him to try to talk evil. And he was like, but mom, like, I love everyone. His character, that kid just was not selling it at all. The kid getting hit by the car was absolutely brutal again, almost identical to the first film, and I just loved it. Her freakouts on him were the death of me. They're bane of my fucking existence while watching this movie. Like, she just kept hammering into this guy about killing babies over in Vietnam and raping gook women and cutting their tits off and making them into like moccasins in a couple seconds. And like, she was going at him so hard about things that he had done fighting for his country. Like, those guys came back from the war all fucked up, and they were told they were baby killers. You ever want to see the greatest, like one of the greatest performances of all time, in my opinion, Sylvester Stallone in First Blood, when he has the breakdown at the end. Like, that's what these people went through. And his wife has the gall, the audacity to fucking spit in his face. And he's trying to stay composed, and she just keeps egging him on. Like, you want to hit me? You gonna do it? Oh my God. I am not into hitting women at all. But that is one of those scenarios where if I saw it and it hit her, I would be like, oh. I don't know. I don't know how I feel right now. She is just begging for it. Oh, she's god awful. Yeah, just how she can pick on him about that kind of stuff. And then 5 minutes later, she's like trying to act sweet, and then she turns bitch mode again, and then sweet, and then bitch mode, and then they blow her up in the fucking car, and they gouge her eyes out, and they stick her up on the... I was like, yes! They probably hurt. She was probably in pain. They fucking tortured her. They mutilated her. Yes, yes, yes. This is terrible. Whatever. And then after they hit the kid, one thing that they added in here from the last one was that this time they like peeled the kid off the road, and it was like all stuck, and he like it was great. Oh, it was so gnarly. And yeah, when they get in the car and she's like freaking out at him, she calms down so quickly, and then they're like joking like in the last movie, and I was like, why? Her reaction to them hitting him instantly is actually more realistic than in the first movie, but then she goes into fucking bitch mode. Okay, I'm done talking about it. Jesus, she's awful. In this one, the gas station attendant is already dead when they get there, which was great. I thought that was great because I don't know why they would keep an adult alive. In the first movie, they said it was for gasoline or whatever, but fuck off. This movie, they've taken over the town for 12 years, okay? And the blue man, I guess, is the one cop that ever drove through and tried to burn the crops, I guess, or whatever. Like, no one's driven through Gatlin in 12 years. I did like, though, that they explained like how they're actually kids, and it's because the kids are having kids, and we actually get to see like a mating ritual where all the kids stand around and watch two of the kids fuck, and it's actually like really weird because the kids are all freaking out and almost like orgasmic themselves watching, like like it was a pretty funny scene, actually. I love that the main dude in this beats the fuck out of these kids. Like, he corners them, and I like that he's like a Vietnam vet, a Marine, and he fucks these kids up. He grabs one kid's arm and he breaks it, and the bone breaks out of his arm, and then he grabs the other kid and he fucking slits his throat. Then he grabs another kid and he takes the knife in his hand and he rams it into the other kid. Great stuff. And then he's telling them like, I fought this, you're fucking outmatched here. I fought shit like this, but on a better battleground. Like, I'm too tough to be beaten. I love that. And then he goes into the corn, and while he's in there, he's having all these Vietnam flashbacks. Good stuff. These are the additions. These are the changes, and I really enjoyed them. But unfortunately, they're few and far between. There's too much of the original movie in here, and it's all shitty. So I feel like this could have been a really good remake. Like, with a better budget. Not even a better budget, I don't even think that would have happened, but just better casting would have really helped, and changing some more to make it more fun and new, because we already know all the events. Like, what's the point? And the corn scene, though, I mean, even though there are some Vietnam flashbacks, and I do like that, he's running in the corn for like 5 straight minutes. They just keep cutting back to him, and he's running, and then he's like cuts back to him, and they're running. And the interactions between Malachi and Isaac when they're like fighting over, it's silly. And then Malachi finds this other kid that he thinks is gonna replace Isaac, and he's like even sweeter. He looks, it was ridiculous. It was just like, can you pick better evil looking kids, please? And yeah, I think that's it. Oh shit, I went through all my notes. Okay, never mind. All right, we're done. Yeah, so as I said, as a whole, not great, but there were things that I would love to pluck out of this one and insert into the first movie. And I think, like, making a hodgepodge collection of these films put together, I actually think the first one would become even better than it was. So there's some things to take from this, but overall it was kind of just blah. All right. The next series I pick to review is not going to be a big one. I've done 2 in a row, man. I did 10 Hellraisers and 9 Children of the Corns. Next up is going to be something short and sweet, like 2 or 3 movies. All right, guys. Oh my God. No more He Who Walks Behind the Rose, whatever the fuck that means. Jesus Christ.